Hey, this is Mark Watkins, and you and we're going to build a freaking NASCAR team live on web TV. Let's make some sports history. You know, nobody's ever built a professional sports team on Indiegogo, so let's be the first to do it. Let's build a freaking NASCAR team on Indiegogo. Now, what makes me think that I can build a NASCAR team? Well, I've actually owned a couple of teams in the past, and one of them we built on the internet. Back in 2001, before crowdfunding was ever even heard of, we built a NASCAR Busch Series team, and we did it with fans all across America and fans in some other foreign countries too. Each fan pitched in about $100, some of them some more, and before we even knew it, we had enough money to go buy a car. The next thing you know, we were making our start at Bristol. So we know what we're doing, we've done it before, but back then there was no Indiegogo. We have the contacts, we have the know-how, we've got a great business plan, and it's time to build a freaking NASCAR team live on the internet on Indiegogo. And we want you to join us. Now, some of you are looking at me already like I am crazy.
Are you crazy?
You can be part of something special. I promise. What? Yeah, but the people at Indiegogo said if you put music in the video that you'd raise 16.8% more money. What? Background music? Elevator music? Look, at a NASCAR race, you might hear some country music, but you ain't gonna hear no elevator music. Alright, alright. Producers. We'd like to build a NASCAR Camping World truck team, and also throw in a few ARCA cars and a late model car, because we're going to need a few cars to train with. So how much is this going to cost? About a freaking $1 million or two. But at Indiegogo, they wanted us to set a realistic goal. So what we're doing is we're going to go by phases. And in phase 1, we used a perfect mathematical formula to come up with exactly how much we needed. So let's go over to my Board of Education and we'll take a look and see exactly what that formula came up with. Okay, here's my Board of Information where I'm going to explain how we came up with our goal. Okay, you see, it's a very simple mathematical formula. MC squared plus x minus y equals 2 to the 10th plus 85 minus 2 to the 3rd x minus y equals $250,000. Pretty simple. So what are we going to do with this $250,000? Let me tell you. First, we're going to begin with something very basic. We're going to go rent a shop. Now, we found a shop already that's about $3,000 a month, and it's 8,500 square feet. So that's what we're looking at. As a matter of fact, here's a picture of it. Okay, it's a great looking shop. It's exactly what we need to get started. But what else do we need? Well, how about a couple of NASCAR trucks? That's right. If we're going to build a freaking NASCAR team, let's start with the NASCAR Truck Series. So what we want to do is get a couple of NASCAR trucks. Okay, what else do we want to get? One critical thing we'll need is a crew chief. Along with a crew chief, we'll need a couple of employees. The employees will help around the shop, make sure the cars and trucks are prepared to race, and then off to the races we'll go. So our Indiegogo campaign goal is $250,000. That'll get us off to a good start. But that won't build a complete team. It'll build a small team. But in the beginning, we're going to do whatever we have to do. To be honest, what we really want to do is raise the most money in Indiegogo history. Now you talk about a goal, that's a goal. But we had to put some kind of goal up there. So for now, it's $250,000. If we have to go to another phase later, that's what we'll do. Okay, now let me explain how this all will work. First, you have the company, and that's us, Big Fan Racing. Then you have contributors, people who want to join us, people who want to help us build the freaking NASCAR team on the internet. That's you. And then you can get your friends to also help us build a freaking NASCAR team on the internet. These are your friends. Then we have some big contributors. These are sponsors who want to help us build a freaking NASCAR team on the internet. Sorry about that. That's actually Amway. You see, my parents were Amway distributors back in the 70s, and well, I got a little carried away here. But it's kind of the same principle, if you know what I mean. If you help us, and you get some friends to help us, and we get some big sponsors to help us, and we all pitch in together, then we can build a freaking NASCAR team on the internet. And when we do, we'll reward you and your friends and the sponsors with perks that you can't get anywhere else from any other NASCAR team anywhere. So yeah, kind of like Amway, I guess. One thing we want to do with our team that kind of goes back to our roots is we'd like to donate some space on each vehicle in each race to some charities. Some really good deserving charities, mostly children's charities, but something like St. Jude's Children's Hospital or the Shaken Baby Syndrome organization, or maybe the Make-A-Wish Foundation, and also maybe something like the military Adopt a Hero program that an actual NASCAR driver in Florida started. So giving up some of the free space that we're not going to be using during a race is one way that we can give back to the community and help some charities get some awareness. And I say it goes back to our roots because in 2002 we actually raced for America's Most Wanted and John Walsh and Fox TV, and we ran a car for them up in Dover, and what we did on the car was put a missing 3-year-old child from New York in an attempt to get her picture out there, and hopefully somebody would recognize her and she would be found. As a matter of fact, here's a picture of that car and Mr. Walsh. We really enjoy doing stuff like that. And another thing we're doing is we're going to give some drivers who would never ever get a chance to drive in one of the top series the opportunity to drive a Big Fan Racing car or truck. I mean, after all, we've been watching the same drivers for the last 10 years. I think it's time to put a little bit of new blood in there. So we're going to get some of these drivers and give them a shot. And that's a part of our program too. Now, why am I personally doing this? Well, I actually made a promise to my son when he was a little kid that I would help him one day become a NASCAR driver. And when we built the first team after 9/11 happened, we never got a chance to let him drive. He was still too inexperienced and was still too young. So we did quit the team and built a small late model team, and he raced for a couple of years at Greenville Pickens Speedway and Anderson Speedway in South Carolina. And then after that we had to shut things down. So my personal goal for building this team is to keep my promise that I made to him when he was a kid. So when it comes right down to it, that's the reason I'm here. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell the whole story, but if you'll look under the video here, then you'll be able to read a little bit more about it and a little bit more about our history. But if you want to just have a lot of fun, help us build a freaking NASCAR team on the internet. Help us make some history. Oh, and if you would, let's raise more money than anybody in the history of Indiegogo and make a statement. I think it's about time somebody built a freaking NASCAR team on Indiegogo. And here's something I'm going to do for the entire time of the Indiegogo campaign. Every night at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, I'm going to get on our Facebook page and I'm going to sit there until 2 a.m. in the morning for the whole campaign. I'm going to be sending out posts. You can comment on the post. We can have a conversation on the comments. I'm going to be contacting people. I'm just going to be dedicated to sitting there 7 hours every night and updating everything. And at least once each day, I'll do a 1 or 2 minute video update and let everybody know what's going on. Doesn't sound like fun, but I'm going to do it anyway. So in the end, I'd like to thank you for helping us build a freaking NASCAR team on the internet, live on a web show. Don't tell the producer, but I'm going to put the music in just in case. Won't you help us build a freaking NASCAR team live on the internet, on Indiegogo?